Yeah, Paul Sykes, yeah, and you got Brian Cottrell, Lee Duffy, and Paul Sykes is a cleaner on B wing, supposed to be. As the screws undo the doors, Paul Sykes runs in, rapes them, gets a Sun newspaper, pays 3 women, puts them on their back, and goes to town on them. And yet, the screws don't know nothing about it. And if the screws do know something about it, they're just letting it go. Could you imagine that? You know what I mean? And furthermore to that, I was molested as a child, so all sex offenders and all that, I'd just go mad and want to kill them. Yeah. So it's the same as these young kids. They're on one wing, and this Paul Sykes is jumping into cells and raping kids. Well, do you really think that these young kids would not stab up Paul Sykes? Paul Sykes is raping these kids. These kids that come out of their cell when Paul Sykes is walking by, go behind him and stab him up. Plastic knives, get something, and then they would stab him, not hit because he with a bed leg, or do something to him. He just wouldn't be able to rape these kids and get away with it. Kids wouldn't allow him to do that. Look, it doesn't matter if a kid can't hold his hands up. If a kid gets raped, he's going to defend himself. He's going to come out of that cell like a lunatic and try and stab up Paul Sykes as he walks by. Paul Sykes could not go in cells like that on a wing and get all the young kids. I don't know where they got this from, yeah. I'm a bit surprised at the way Brian Cottrell tells the story about his sex nonce case and this, that, and the other. Paul Sykes. I like Brian. I like some of Brian's stories. We know that he fabricates a lot, and to me, he's fabricated it about Paul Sykes and Lee Duffy. Because Lee Duffy, 21, can have a right fight, they reckon. And here's about Paul Sykes. He's only been in there an hour, the prison, and all of a sudden, everybody's telling him about Paul Sykes, and he sees Paul Sykes and puts it on Paul Sykes. What the crap that is? Puts it on Paul Sykes. Paul Sykes nut puts his head down, and there's 3 screws around Paul Sykes, and there's 9 screws around Lee Duffy. I think that there'd be 9 screws around Paul Sykes and 1 screw around Lee Duffy. But this is how the story goes. Paul Sykes puts his nut down. He's still cleaning the wing, B wing, but he's petrified of Lee Duffy coming out and bashing him up. I could imagine if this was true that and Paul Sykes was raping young kids on B wing, and Lee Duffy was on that wing as well, that maybe Lee Duffy would come out with a few kids, with other people, and stab up Paul Sykes, or or steam into Paul Sykes, 3 or 4 of them, but not one-handed, mate. Paul Sykes would have killed Lee Duffy, ex-professional fighter, and he's on top of that. When they're out for exercise and they're walking around the yard, there's a big bag, black bag in there that they all punch it. Brian Cottrell punches it, Lee Duffy punches it. Paul Sykes gets undone 10 minutes late, goes out there, is punching the bag for 40 minutes, 15 minutes, and they try to get him in. He won't go in because he's saying, no, you undone me 10 minutes late, I'm entitled to another 10 minutes, right? Anyway, they go, no, you've got to come in. These are MP prison officers. So all of a sudden, they get hold of Paul Sykes. Now, don't forget, there was 3 screws around Paul Sykes when Lee Duffy shouted at Paul Sykes, and there was 9 screws around Lee Duffy. All of a sudden, to control Paul Sykes wants to get Lee Duffy, or he's not, I don't know, right? But Paul Sykes now is out in the yard. He got 3 screws, come over to Paul Sykes, crash, knocks 3 screws spark out. And yet, Lee Duffy, a 21-year-old kid, is walking about B wing and whatever, calling Paul Sykes a paedophile. I don't know where, a bit surprised with Brian Cottrell actually believing that, you know. I don't know why, you know, it's a story, I suppose, you know what I mean? But I like Brian Cottrell, I like some of the stories he comes out with. We all exaggerate on things, yeah? But to say that Paul Sykes had, you know, and Lee Duffy never had it off, it never kicked off, yeah? And yet Lee Duffy was supposed to have said this, was supposed to have said that to Paul Sykes. Paul Sykes, mate, you know, you see what person he is. He knocks 3 screws out in the yard, so Brian Cottrell says, over the bag, over being let out 10 minutes late. So you really think that Lee Duffy would get away with what you're saying to Paul Sykes? It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. It's his prison. I mean, I've been in prison big times in my life, yeah, and it don't happen. You know, if someone says something like that, and you're in prison, mate, and you're going to get this guy. Don't worry about that. This guy who said that to you, don't matter who he is, he's going to go. Because prison is not a place really where it's just about those. It isn't just about those in prison. Prison is a wicked place where people pick up things and will bash you up with it. You know, hot water and sugar only come in late 90s. Late 80s, 90s, it come in. Never before have I seen it I've seen it with hot water. I'm not seeing it with all this sugar shit in it and all that crap. You know, that only come in the late ones, I told you. But cons won't give in. If you're in prison and you're in prison, you got to survive. And if someone keeps coming to your cell, raping you and molesting you, you think you're going to just let it go. You think you're going to just let it go. And when someone shouts and screams at you in prison, you think you're going to let it go. You know one way or the other, if you don't go for that person and try to oblige him, he's going to come to you and keep doing it. It doesn't matter if you get a good hiding. It doesn't matter if you got that person and get a good hiding, because that person knows now he can't come back. He ain't going to come back, mate. He don't want to be walking down the lane and you walk up behind him and plunge him with something, which happens 24/7 in prison. Prison's a funny place, mate. You know what I mean? People give stories about it, this, that, and the other, but do they tell you the truth? You know about prison. Prison is a wicked, wicked place. Yeah, you can die in prison. Listen, if you get a sentence, a big sentence, it's a feat to get out there in one piece. It's a feat to get out there in one piece. I've been stabbed a few times in prison with pencils and things like that. But it's a feat to get out of there, you know. And the people that do it to you, you know, it's just what I'm just saying to you. You don't let it go. You come back and you make sure that that person can't come back to you. You got to do it in such a way this person wants to get off the wing. That's the sort of thing you got to do. Is obliged. I mean, I remember. It's a thing that, look, it's a big thing when I was in ordinary prison, yeah. A guy called Tom Lashley. He was raping women like it's going out of fashion, yeah. He raped so many women, they say. He got life and another life and this, that and the other for what he did. He's done a big bit of bird, got out and they give him a life for another bit, and this, that and the other, right. But it was hard to believe that he'd done what he'd done because of the size of his manhood. But whatever, forget about it. But because of who he was, and because of that, some guys set about him, 2 or 3 guys set about him with a lid of a pineapple tin, right, but they cut such in a bad way that it was jagged. And they cut Tom Lashley from the ear to there. About half-inch thick, the scar on his face. Those people, right, that done that to him, he broke their arms, their legs, and done all sorts of things to them. And obviously so, they was sent off the wing and they was gone to another nick, another prison, because of consequences. He needed to go onto the other wings. He's a sex offender, yeah. He was a really, really bad sex offender, you know. I used to train with this guy 7 days a week, training him because I didn't believe what they were saying about him. And when he got cut to pieces like that, I still didn't believe it, you know. I thought this is one of them guys. I wasn't there when they cut him, you know, but I think it's one of them guys that someone said something and it's got to be 100%. It's got to be 100%, mate. And it was 100%. And I'm just sorry to say that, you know, anyway. But I've seen people in there, right, get really hurt, but they come back. I've seen people bully people in there. Look at George Cottrell, not George Cottrell. Sorry, Catapult Charlie. I forget his name now. Look at him with Billy McGee, Mary McGee the Puff. Bullied Mary McGee. Goes in the wood mill, works in the wood mill. Had a go with Billy McGee. Come over to fight George Cockrell. That's it. Come over to fight Billy McGee. Billy McGee stabbed him 16 times with a quarter-inch chisel. Dead. That's what prison's about. That's what prison's about. And I don't believe for 1 minute, right, that Paul Sykes raped all these kids and got away with it without consequences. I'm on about bad consequences. You think you're telling me that all these people on the wing know that he's raping young boys and they ain't going to do nothing about it? You got Brian Cottrell goes on the wing, whatever. Brian Cottrell can have a right fight, I've been told. Why don't Brian Cottrell with other people steam into Paul Sykes? You know, even if they're going to get, even if 3 or 4 are going to get clumps from Paul Sykes, they've got to hurt him. They've got to put him, say, don't, you've got to do it such and such a way that he ain't never again going to be able to sexually abuse young kids. If it's true. Is it true? Is it true? No, it's not true. It can't be true, mate. It can't be true. It can't be true. You know, sexually, it can't be true. No, it just can't be true, mate. It's one of the things that it don't happen. Young kids, it don't happen. It happens in prison. It happens in prison when guys are doing it to other guys because that's what they do, right? But it's not like taking a guy, put his arm up his back and taking him in and raping him. That don't happen, mate. It don't happen because if he gets out, if words gets about that someone's done that, they're going to get well. I remember being in the scrubs, right? And no, sorry, Wandsworth. I remember being in Wandsworth, yeah. Being shipped out of Albany and go to Wandsworth. I've already bashed up the guy that bashed me up in Albany, yeah. I broke his jaw, done all sorts of smashed him in pieces, yeah. So the screws know that I'm a bit lively. Let's put it this way. They knew, but they didn't know. They point fingers at me, but they didn't know 100%. So they left me alone as such, yeah. But I was on the hot plate. And they knew that I was an handful, yeah. And a screw come up to me. And the screws, you know, and said to me, listen, there's a guy on the freeze, right? He's a bad rapist of kids and bits and pieces like that. And he come down, I was on the hot plate, he come down, they showed him out to me. And the screw says to me, right, as they do, and it's in Wandsworth, this is a bad nick, that, you know, to get away with it and put in Wandsworth is hard. But the screws go on the man and say, listen, this geezer, and they point him out to me as he walked by the hot plate. I went, okay. So he said to me, listen, can you, I said, yeah, no problem. That's done, mate. They looked after me, that's done. He would walk I would run upstairs as I was coming out of the cell to the recess. He come in to the cell and we smashed him to pieces with a chair leg and bashed him up bad. bashed him up table with a chair, lived a lot, and never got nicked for it. Just battered him. But that's how it is. That's how it is. People that sexually abuse people and kids and all that game, that's what happens to them sort of people. So Paul Sykes would not have got away with that, especially up there where that is. Durham. Durham's a naughty prison, yeah. And Paul Sykes, okay, you can have a fight, mate, but people are going to get together in a cell and say, listen, this geezer's taking liberties. He's molesting young children, young kids, not young children, young kids. And he's taking liberties with them and abusing them. We've got to go back and do them. And that's what happens, mate. They've gone back and they've done him bad. About Lee Duffy, it's just beyond me that someone can say that Lee Duffy shouted at Paul Sykes that he's a nonce, and that's it. And Paul Sykes done nothing about it, put his nut down and walked off. 2 minutes later, a week later, Paul Sykes bashes up 3 screws. Mate, it just makes me sick. It makes me sick to even think, listen, bang, bang, I could go on all day about this, you know what I mean? Because these sort of things wind me up, wind me up, and and I've heard some people talk on their videos, when they talk about videos about approved schools and places like that, and places that look after young boys. And they go in there, and this, that, and the other, and they get obliged by the people that work there, But I don't, but it always happens, mate, that you're going to get really, really fucking hurt for doing that. You know what I mean? You're going to get hurt. Kids stick together, mate. Kids stick together, and they will. People are watching this now, people are watching it who maybe do the same thing to young kids and all this, to young boys and all that, you're going to get hurt, mate. You are going to get hurt, because one day you're going to get put in prison. A lot of these people go to GH and K Wing, I think it is in Wandsworth. I don't know if that's still open now, but someone told me they because of this big drug thing now in prison, massive big drug thing in prison, that all these people like rapists and nonces come up into the main wing, where these people that sell this crap are getting hold of these people and getting them to run around putting it in people's cells. Puff here, puff there, that, all that, because they need them people. And they say, look, you do this for us, and we'll make sure that no one touches you. And that's what they do. They run around the cell, putting puff here, do that, do this, and they never get obliged because people are too petrified to oblige them, because there's maybe 60, 70 people on the wing that are going to kill you if you touch him. This is what it's getting like now in prison, Anyway, bang, 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 nice one.